Hello, this is Joe from Learning While Practicing. For Chapter 6 regarding functions, we are going to be seeing together 7 exercises or 7 examples. Let's start right away with the first one. So, the goal of this first algorithm is to actually define between two numbers which one is the biggest, which one is the maximal number. So, here, what we are going to do is we are going to divide our program into two parts. The first part is the part where we are going to define the function that we are going to be using. And here, the main part of the program, which starts with def main, is what we are going to be executing. So basically, what the program is going to do is first, it's going to understand that I have defined a new function that the program would not understand otherwise. It would not understand what max num1, num2 means if I don't define it. So I define here these two variables. What I say is that this max function right here that I have defined has to take two arguments, which are num1 and num2. And there's a condition on these and a result that must be returned. So the result here that I have in both must be returned. So the function returns the result that I'm going to make use of. And here, k, which is going to take the function, will actually see itself attributed the result. That's what's going to be returned. So here, when I define the main, I have given values for I and j, and I apply the function here that are attributed to the variable k, and max of I and j, which are going to be num1 and num2. They are the variables num1 and num2. So as you see, I do not have to write num1, num2 here. I can write I and j. The program understands that it must take two variables. What matters is that these two must be the same for these here conditions, but it doesn't matter if they are named otherwise right here. Okay, that's the great thing. So let's try to execute this program first and see what it gives. So I make sure to select the chapter 6 here, this one. I'm going to run it. And here you go. The larger number of 5 and 2 is 5. Now, what I could have done is also, I could have, for example, prompt the user to put a value, for example. So give a value for number 1. And I could also do an eval input right here. So give a value for number 2. And now, if I execute the program this time, it asks me first to give a value for number 1. So let's say I put the value 10. Then it asks me for number 2. I'm going to put the value, for example, 8. And now you see the larger number of 10 and 8 is 10. So here, just let me fix that because I made a small mistake in the form, the aesthetic form, as you can see. So here, as you have seen, we have defined a function, and here we are able to use it. So the great thing is that this is the first approach to object-oriented programming. What we are going to be doing is defining things that we are going to be using in the program. Instead of using in the main program, defining the function in the main program, I have defined it outside. What I could also do is define the program in another Python file and then import it just as I import the turtle and math module. Actually, turtle and math module are functions which are defined in a class, okay? And we are going to see later on in the next chapters how we define a class and how we define objects from the class. And that's what make modular programming so easy to work with, especially when you have a lot of people working on a single program. So each one can have a part, and if that part is changed, you do not need to change the whole program. You just have that part that is changed and you're still importing it. So now if I change anything in that function, nothing will change in my main program because I'm still using that same function right here. Of course, except if I want to define now for 3 numbers, then I will have to apply 3 numbers right there. But otherwise, there shouldn't be any problem. Okay, so I'm just gonna set it back to what it previously was. So it was 5 and 2, and run it back again to keep it the same thing. Here you go. Okay, so now I'll see you for example number 2.